So, hello, good evening, and welcome for quiz number 7. Spot the deliberate mistake if you haven't spotted it already. The 7th week of the aviation quiz, and numbers are growing. So, hopefully, a few of you joining. I know the weather's been great today, so hopefully, you've all enjoyed it, and that you're starting to come out of lockdown, whatever that means, slowly. So, my captain tonight, Abby, I'll be reading the questions, and the sharp-eyed of you will notice we've decided to streamline. In line with the industry, we're going to streamline the quiz and a new format, not just for this change for change's sake, but hopefully you'll like the changes. So what we're going to do is to have 3 rounds in total. So there'll be 20 variety questions, and then we'll have round 1 answers. Then there'll be the iconic aircraft round, which the lead-in might give you a clue to. It'll be a shortish round, and then round 3 will be another 20 questions. So everything jumbled up, a variety of civil and military aircraft, people, history, general knowledge, and all for fun. There'll be 1 point per official answer, 1 per bonus point. I've tried to get those of you who know a few of these quizzes. There might be the occasional mistake, but they're all genuinely intended to be the right answer. And we get into a healthy debate about which one is right. They're all on YouTube, apart from quiz 1 and 2, which were banned by YouTube. And the photos and videos, so thanks to James Mellon again for this evening at Big Jets TV, and selected questions of the bonus round that those of you who've followed are aware of, selected questions from Peter Witts, who I haven't seen sign in tonight, so maybe he's enjoying too much sangria in the Spanish sun. So without further ado, we'll get on with the quiz. So round 1. Round 1, question 1. So if you look at the 2 immediate UK predecessor airlines of Thomson Airways, now TUI Airways, what are they? So what are the 2 airlines that came together to make Thomson Airways that's now TUI Airways? Hopefully a reasonably easy one to start. Where's the music gone? Oh, I've just realised. So round 1, question 1. Sorry, just realised we didn't have the right format in, so there's always a deliberate mistake in every one of these. So round 1, question 1, the 2 immediate UK predecessor airlines of Thomson Airways. You can now, Josh. That was just to see if you were watching, really, just to see if you noticed. Last week we forgot to turn the mic on, this week we forgot to turn the slides on, so everything is different.
It's a memory test too this week.
You thought the new format was just to read the questions out, you see. Right, round 1, question 2. Can you name the airline? What is the airline shown in this photograph? Don't have to guess the person. I wouldn't know who the person was if you chose to guess it, unfortunately. So round 1, question 2, name the airline. There's going to be 20 questions, so a nice long piece of paper, and mostly 1 point for each of them. Round 1, question 3, when applied to airlines, what does the term yield mean? Obviously in normal times, what does the term yield mean when applied to airlines? Unfortunately a little bit absent at the moment, but yield, what does it mean? Round 1, question 4. Can you name this aircraft type? What is the aircraft type?
Without subsidiaries. Or otherwise it might get complicated. It's a TUI question.
Brandon, so on the TUI question, so it's the 2 main airlines that came together to form Thomson Airways. So there were lots of others that were prior to that. This is at the point when they merged to become Thomson Airways Limited, which then was renamed as TUI Airways Limited. So that's round 1, question 4. Round 1, question 5. What French military jet's name means sudden, brutal gust of wind? What French military jet's name means sudden, brutal gust of wind? It's one of those things, again, when you see one in the future.
Question 2.
Oh, what? Question 2?
No.
Oh, name the airline. It's question 2.
Shouldn't be a subsidiary.
So, Brandon, do you want to just, in the comments, say question 1 was the TUI Airways and question 2 was name the airline? Shout if you need me to slow down or go back to any questions, or just post them in the comments, not the answers, just the questions. So, round 1, question 5. Round 1, question 6. No quiz of ours would be, although actually last time we don't think we had a Top Gun question, but here's a Top Gun question. In the film Top Gun, which I think you've all seen by now, who was the pilot, i.e. the nickname, shot down by a missile fired by a MiG? And if you get a bonus point, you know who his rear was, nickname of the rear. Not sure if Joseph is on tonight. Joseph's our resident Top Gun expert, but hopefully you know this one. So that's round 1, question 6. If you've just joined, shout and we can go back if you want to go through any of the questions again. Don't worry, Brandon, it's fine. So, Top Gun, the famous Top Gun question, or one of them. Oh, it says round. So this is round 1, question 7. Name the aircraft livery. Question 7. And bonus if you know the airline. So what's the aircraft livery, and bonus if you know the airline? Thanks to James again for a lot of these fabulous photos. I don't think I've exhausted half of your encyclopedia yet, so thank you again.
I never actually realised it had eyes on the side until recently.
Round 1, question 8. ATAG. Those of you who know, I'm a fan of ATAG, so I keep plumbing the database, and hopefully you don't as well. But by 2050, net aviation carbon emissions will be cut by what percentage, or what percentage will be they less than they were in 2005? And that's assuming that the traffic had continued at 2019 levels, of course. So what percentage less would it be than in 2005? 25%, 35%, or 50% less? It's another one of those. If you meet any people who think aviation is a polluter, you can, when you know the answer to this one, use it at that event. So, choice of 3 there. Question 8, 25, 35 or 50%. Round 1, question 9. What are aircraft tyres filled with? Normally. I've come across tyres in museums being filled with various things, but what are they normally tyres filled with? Round 1, question 10, halfway through round 1. Who led the British team that developed Concorde? So you probably know there are 2 teams, Anglo-French teams. Who led the British team that developed Concorde? Quiet on the comments tonight. Everyone's sitting in the sun, sipping Kip Pims or beer or... So that's round 1, question 10. Hopefully you got enough room on your piece of paper. Round 1, question 11. So there's an Army Air Corps aircraft that shared its name with a furry amphibian, i.e. an animal type amphibian. What Army Air Corps aircraft shared its name with a furry amphibian? Relaxing music in the background.
Port, actually.
Oh, port. Oh, very nice. No gout, hopefully. So you're out in Abu Dhabi, is that right, Kane, I think? So hopefully it's nice over there. Oh, Matt's on his own, having to concentrate. Trish, evening all. Round 1, question 12. What? Name the aircraft type. Can you name this aircraft type? Doesn't normally have bricks under its nose, well, not when it was in service anyway, but what is this aircraft type? Not sure if Bob's on tonight. Oh, watermark, yeah, good. You flying? I'm on the water. Abby's not. Cheers, Mark. You're not supposed to cheer with water, are you?
Bad luck.
Oh, you don't have a leash here. Oh, okay. So, oh, Josh, it's a bit of a test. So that's round 1, question 12. Always sad to see an aircraft propped up by bricks. Round 1, question 13. So here's one of those bits of useless information that you've probably always wondered about if you've ever looked into a helicopter. So the pilots in command in a helicopter sit on the right seat of a 2-seat helicopter, i.e. opposite to most aeroplanes. DC-10. Is that a question? Is that an answer, Tris? If it is, please don't post it in the comments. Round 1, question 13 then. So if you're sitting in a helicopter as pilot in command, you sit on the right seat of a 2-seat helicopter. Why? Do you know why? There might be more than one reason why, but there's a main reason why. Oh, that says round 1, question 13 as well. So this is actually round 1, question 14. Sorry, a few gremlins crept into the numbering with the new format. So this is round 1, question 14. When were the first meals served on board a commercial flight? Were they 1912, 1919 or 1934? I think we might have an extra question that's slipped in here, so you might actually get an extra question in. New format, new gremlins. Oh, did you know why though? In flight with James. Presumably you're James. In flight.
That's cheating, Josh.
So round 1, question 14, the next one. So there's two question 14s, just to confuse me. So the red arrow is signature manoeuvre, where 2 aircraft repeatedly roll around a turning main formation. In fact, if you look between me and Abby on the wall, you'll see a glimpse. What's the signature manoeuvre called, where 2 aircraft repeatedly roll around a turning main formation? Well, it starts off straight and then generally turns. Signature manoeuvre, I think it was introduced 2 seasons ago, wouldn't vouch for that. But they have a signature manoeuvre. So this is the real question 15. I think there's only one of these. In 2019, which was the largest number in the UK based on passenger numbers, according to most of the sources that I could find. Couldn't vouch that there might be other sources saying different things, but most of the sources concluded that this airline was the right answer. So in 2019, which was the largest airline in the UK based on passenger numbers? Yeah, is it?
Don't recognise it. It's very sleepy.
Round 1, question 16. So, cabinet papers that were released from 1996 by the National Archives revealed that the then Prime Minister John Major considered renaming Heathrow Airport to honour Sir Winston Churchill. Do you think that's true or false? So, was it a fabrication or was it true? Oh dear, Tris, what's that for?
It's so good. Josh's comment.
Oh. Round 1, question 17. Can you name this aircraft type? I don't think it says it on it anyway.
It's up into the nose, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. Give you a clue, it's a freighter. But you can probably tell that from the what's written on the side. You know us trying to be helpful. that's round 1, question 17. Round 1, question 18. The first male cabin attendants were called cabin boys. True or false? The first male cabin attendants were called cabin boys. True or false? Question 19. Now, those of you who remember the Boeing question, I think I got the maths wrong, but I think you all worked it out in the end anyway. So if you add together the middle numbers, we have to be fair to Airbus and Boeing. If you add together the middle numbers of the main Airbus types, what's the total? So the middle numbers of the main Airbus types, what is the total? Happy June in the background.
It wasn't too nice in London today, so who else is the nice weather today? Me too. One of the quizzes we do.
Just put both down, Matt. True and false.
It's a question for a reason.
Round 1, question 20. Can you name this aircraft type? Decide whether we can have a bonus point if you actually know the variant, but it's the aircraft type.
I wouldn't guess.
No.
That's being too technical there.
I think it's being... We'll decide when we get to the answers, Josh.
Depends if you need a bonus point.
But no, not in the way I've calculated it, no. So just the main short-haul member, that the others are then sub or whatever the opposite of sub members are. So that's the end of round 1. So hopefully you enjoyed the new format. So rather than dreading a particular round or actually thinking, oh no, not the
bonus for variant. Yeah,
yes,
sure.
Yes, Andy, definitely.
That was the Simon bonus then, not mine.
Yeah, so that's round 1. Lots of variety, hopefully, and stops you, as I say, dreading any particular round. And we will go on to, if you're ready, that should be out of a total of 23, but we'll do the answers next. So if you want to get your, put your pens down, whatever pens you got, and pick up your red pens and put those in to give yourself a mark, or swap papers if anyone else is with you. If you're on your own, obviously you can't do that. And we'll go through the answers to round 1 if you're ready. Round 1, question 1. So the two immediate predecessor airlines were Thomson Fly and First Choice that came together to become Thomson Airways. So it's 1 point for the two airlines that came together. Is it 1? Yeah. So round 1, question 2, Norwegian. The airline, I'm sure you all knew that. Don't actually know who it is on the tail, but they have so many strange people, personal view on tails of aircraft, so I don't really know who it is. And I can never read the words anyway, so. Round 1, question 3, profit per passenger is generally the term yield. Or just profit would be fine. Round 1, question 4 was the Antonov 124. I'm sure those of you who are sharp-eyed saw Lucy's on tonight, but she always seems to be spotting Russian aircraft, but this is the 124, that's the 4-engine variant. Round 1, question 5 is the Rafale. The Dassault Rafale, that apparently... Oh yes, sorry, in-flight with James. But you could give yourself a bonus point for knowing the predecessors of the predecessors, though. So I think that's definitely worthy of a bonus point. That's fine, Josh. Yeah, give yourself a bonus point because you've gone further back. So that's Dassault Rafale is the sudden, brutal gust of wind. Probably a very literal translation. Mark, yeah, give yourself a bonus point. Round 1, question 6. Hollywood was the pilot shot down by a missile fired by MiG, and Wolfman was his rear. And apparently, according to the official Top Gun website, if Wolfman had not let people know that Maverick was leaving the squadron, then actually the film would not have had an ending. It would have stopped halfway. Because he told everyone and they interrupted. So thanks to Wolfman, there was a part 2, second half of the film. It was. This is round 1, question 7. The aircraft livery, so the Dove livery for the Olympics, and it's British Airways. Not sure if was it ever repainted?
Yes, I believe how it's
And Abby hadn't spotted for a long time that there were eyes on it. Until the other one. So that's round 1, question 7. Round 1, question 8, 50%. So by 2050, and this is even with the previous fleets that were going to continue in service prior to coronavirus, the fleet was heading for a 50% reduction on CO2 emissions by 2050 compared to 2005.
Pigeon. A golden pigeon, Mark.
Golden pigeon. Funky pigeon.
Yeah.
So what are aircraft tyres filled with? Nitrogen, of course. Or in some museum aircraft they're filled with concrete, but normally filled with nitrogen. Round 1, question 10. Sir James Hamilton. Why isn't there more made of this chap who led the British team that developed Concorde? I think he ran it for about 15 years, overcame most of the hurdles that led to Concorde getting into service. Probably not a name that you hear about very much in many corridors. Actually quite involved in lots of things prior to being involved in Concorde as well, so a bit of a fascinating person. Round 1, question 11 was the Beaver, de Havilland Beaver. Dam builder would be another way of doing it. Round 1, question 12 is a Trident. It's at the de Havilland Aircraft Museum at Salisbury Hall. If you've not been there, Bob Dick was on tonight, I'm not sure he is. He would know it's a Trident 2E, but it's a Trident.
Just not one of your normal flight plans, to be honest.
Round 1, question 13. Oh, Brendan, you might need to look back as to when they switched to nitrogen in the tyres. That's an interesting thing to look up. Round 1, question 13. Pilots in command sit on the right side of helicopters because certainly in the earlier days the collective lever could be released for periods with friction, but the cyclic was generally more wobbly and moved around, so they couldn't take their hands off to operate radios, etc. So the collective lever could be left on friction, so it didn't move generally, so actually they could operate radios and actually do other things as well as fly the helicopter. So that's apocryphally the main reason why pilots in command sit on the right side of helicopters.
I'm trying to think. So you mean you can take off the collective lever on the left side?
Yeah, so if you're sitting there, this lever, the collective lever, won't move very much because it can be on friction, even in earlier helicopters. But you generally have to keep hold of the cyclic all the time, so you couldn't take your hand off, otherwise you'd have been stuck there on the controls all the time, apparently. So this is the other, if you remember the other question 13. So October the 11th, 1919 were the first airline meals. London to Paris, 3 shillings each, a bit of a bargain. A bit of the early buy on board. I'm not sure what was in the pre-packed lunch boxes, but it was 1919. It's another British invention, in-flight meals. Tornado is the Red Arrow's signature manoeuvre, where 2 aircraft loop around the 7 aircraft that are in main formation coming toward the crowd and then turn generally to the left, I think. One of their signature manoeuvres. Question 15 was EasyJet in 2019 by actually quite a significant margin to the second one being British Airways, of course. Just that Vangelis sounding friend. Round 1, question 16. It's true. So Heathrow nearly did become Sir Winston Churchill Airport I'm not quite sure what eventually led to that being ditched, or whether it might ever come back again. But it nearly was named. It is a mouthful, yeah. 17 is an Airbus A310. Bit of a rare bird now, not that many of them flying around, I don't think.
The 300.
Yeah, I think the 300, maybe 310s. Someone will answer in the comments, maybe. 18, it's true Imperial Airways employed cabin boys. Of course, as you know, lots of the terms came from ships, the originators of before aviation, so a lot of the terms are common, and I won't say what some of the others are in case we use them in future quizzes. Question 19, so actually should be 23. So the A300, the A310, the A320, the A330, the 340, the 350 and the 380. All sorts of rumours about why the 360 and 370 were never used. The latest one I heard was that, well, two reasons. One was that it was such a big leap in size that they didn't want it to be a 360 or 370. But also, apparently the figure 8 reminded them of the shape of the fuselage, like a double bubble. So you can believe any of those or none of those that you like. Okay, thanks Peter. Thanks Andy. Round 1 question 20 is a 767-400, so the sharp-eyed amongst you will know that it's been stretched a bit. 767 would be fine, but you get a bonus point if you know that it was a 400. So that should be, depending on which bonus point round variant you go with, was around 23 points. Oh, maybe that's another reason, Mark.
That's my favourite.
Oh, A220, thanks Dean.
Yeah, technically
Yeah,
it's
sharp-eyed.
more though, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, you can give yourself a bonus point, including A220 in it then. Yeah, and Andy, if you used 318, 319, 220, it probably wasn't clear enough. So you can get a bonus point for that. Brandon, don't worry, because I'd missed it as well, because I hadn't included it in the official rankings of Airbus numbers yet, wrongly. So anyway.
To be honest, A360 sounds good a bit.
Yeah, I heard they wanted a bigger leap than A362, yeah. Okay, so that's the end of round 1. Round 2 then. No. Round 2, iconic aircraft. So the iconic aircraft round is going to be about the 747, as I think was voted in the little mini survey we had at the end last week. So 5 questions about the Boeing 747. I'm going to put them all on the screen at the same time. Then we'll do the... So there are 5 questions. First one, in what year did the original 747 fly? How many undercarriage wheels does it have?
8 of 20. Oh, Josh.
Number 3, how many main types of 747 have Boeing produced? So this will be a bit of a tester, and there will be a couple of variations in answers that we'll accept here, because it depends which ones you count. But how many main types of 747 have Boeing produced? Out of breath. Sorry, Matt, is this going too fast? Happy to slow down if you think it's too fast, or it's the brain power that's led to the out of breath. Number 4, the Boeing 747 was originally designed with a full twin deck. Is that true or false? And 5, to the nearest 100, how many 747s have been built, according to as many sources as I could find to try and verify this. But to the nearest 100, how many 747s have been built. So I'll leave those up for a little while to leave you to catch up, and also see if you need any other answers in round 1, or sorry, in these repeated or amplified. Oh, thank you. As I've said, many of these quizzes, it's great when you've got the answers in front of you, because the brain power is just trying to number them, and you can see even I failed at numbering them correctly. So the plan being, if we continue to do these every week, subject to you all wanting us to do it, we'll choose a different iconic civil or military aircraft, and this week, of course, being the 747. probably many thousands of 747 questions you could think of. I did actually ask the Seattle Museum of Flight for a number of questions, and we could actually probably run several weeks of quizzes with the number of questions that they came up with. Excuse me. So, if you're ready to move on from those 5, we'll then go into round 3. So, shout if you're ready, and we'll go. You can go back at the end if you want to go back to them again. We're not going to do the answers until the end of round 3, so you've got a little bit of time if you need to have any of those repeated. So the first ready that you post will start going into round 3, which is going to be another 20 question round. In fact, the last round. So 3 rounds in total.
In the flesh audience tonight. My mum? No, she just walks past.
You have people peering into the studio. It's a bit like Times Square, in New York, with crowds outside, none of them social distancing, peering into the studio here. Not.
Go, go, go. Get ready.
I'm just checking I've got the numbering right for round 3. So, okay, so we're ready. Go, go, go. Round 3, question 1. Can you name this aircraft type? Again, a bit sad because it's on not bricks this time, but on a trestle. Can you name the aircraft type?
I guess missing the rest of it.
Yeah, it's not obviously a complete aircraft type. It's just the front of the aircraft. Well spotted, Abby. That's yeah. Hopefully, you might enjoy the blend of variety of everything from people to military to history to everything else, all in one round. Round 3, question 2. So, how many will know this then now? Who were the 2 pilots, of course, astronauts, in Saturday's main launch? And do you know, for a bonus point, what was the rocket called and what was the capsule on top of it called? So surely you've heard this thousands of times since Saturday. So the names of the 2 pilots, variations on spelling will be tolerated, of course. And name the rocket, name the capsule.
I think Mark's question to if you know where it came from question 1.
If you know where it came from. Yeah. Yes. I'm sure you get a bonus point for that, Mark. That's me. Round 3, question 3. Can you name this aircraft type? Not sure if I've seen James on tonight, but James, your photographs continue to give, including some new military ones, which I didn't have room for tonight, but we have some new military ones.
Very small tail. Yeah. Space fan. And a dinosaur. Can't forget about that. You get a bonus point.
You get a bonus point for if you know the dinosaur's name. It's theoretically allowed in this quiz because, of course, it's aviation, because there were pilots who then decided to go fly outside the atmosphere and on top of a candle. Oh, yes. Yes, I'm sure, Josh. But
We've
also...
spoken about it, so I don't know whether that's actually going to be a win.
Oh, okay. Round 3, question 4. In what US state is Edwards Air Force Base? Testing your geography. Can you name the number of colours in the dinosaur?
Yeah.
How many colours are there in the dinosaur?
And where it comes from. What brand?
Who's the toy manufacturer? This could be a question that keeps giving. Round 3, question 4. In which US state? Round 3, question 5. Where was the headquarters of RAF Fighter Command in World War II? Where the operations were run from, as in headquarters. That's round 3, question 5. Bottom of an upside down candle, yes, yeah.
Top or bottom of an upside down candle, doesn't really matter.
Round 3, question 6. What was the name of Charles Lindbergh's Atlantic crossing aeroplane? taking you from every angle of spaceflight to history to people to dinosaurs.
We'll have it featured on next week's quiz.
How many seconds it took you to order the dinosaur?
Like 3.
Round 3, question 7. What's this aircraft type? Solo.
You can order the dinosaur, but I think they might have been sold out by now. I can give you a link later.
I think it was sold out within seconds of the it appearing on TV, Peter, I believe.
If anyone wants a link, just DM me later and I'll try and see if I can get it still.
Round 3, question 8. There are 2 airports named after the musicians Mozart and Chopin. Which cities are they? Where are the 2 airports named after musicians Mozart and Chopin? Plus, we should have a shop on the quiz to you can get the, the dinosaur as well.
I mean, really, I should have bought them in.
And of course, Celebrity Abby, you can get celebrity signed dinosaurs as well by Abby, the captain of the quiz. Round 3, question 9. What was the flying car in the Ian Fleming book that became a famous children's movie? Some of you might recognise some of the questions that come in here from my brother in Spain, Peter Witts. There's a few questions in here that came in from some of his bonus rounds, which we've integrated now into the main questions. Abby's just checking out whether it's in stock, Brandon, so she can add her commission and then sell it on. So
everyone else can share the fun.
Round 3, question 10. What is this aircraft type on this rainy day it was taken? There were some interesting looking aircraft in history, weren't there? Don't think there are any of these flying anymore. That's round 3, question 10. That's still sold out, I don't know. It's a bit like the astronauts' version of having a canary down a coal mine, isn't it, really? Having a dinosaur in the capsule.
They have the other one, don't they? It's like a little world, a little like fluffy world. Fluffy.
Oh.
Not
Round 3, question 11. So what Ford SUV-inspired crossover car shares its name with an Aerospatiale 4-bladed medium transport utility twin-engine helicopter? Don't ask me to say that again.
You should.
A sponsored Amazon link. They might get into trouble for that. Don't shut us down, YouTube. Round 3, question 11. First helicopter question. Oh, no, second helicopter question. So we kept fair to the helicopter community.
Is anyone on here a helicopter fan?
I don't know. We can ask. Round 3, question 12. Which company originally designed this aircraft? Round 3, question 12. Airtran's still around? I don't know whether Airtran's still around, actually.
Is it Airtrans?
Airtran. It's a clue on the fuselage. Round 3, question 13. In 1929, how long would it take you to fly from New York to California? 12 hours, 36 hours, or 48 hours? In 1929, how long would it take you to fly from New York to California? 3 choices. Oh, Abby's found a dinosaur. She's spending most of her time looking for dinosaurs.
You have to get 3 others, but you can get the dinosaur in a 4-pack.
So, Abby can start a new Twitter feed on where to get the dinosaur from. Round 3, question 14. Can you name this special resort livery? Those of you who've been on before will notice that we've had different liveries. Can you spot this special resort livery? I know what it's like being on video calls all day. You lose the will to live sometimes. Particularly when it's sunny outside. Round 3, question 15. So 5 away from the answers to round 2 and the answers to round 3, and in fact the end of the quiz. By passenger numbers, what is Europe's second largest airline? By passenger numbers, what is Europe's second largest airline? You might know what the largest airline is, but we can decide whether we have a bonus point for that. Round 3, question 16. In what year did the first fully automatic landing take place on a commercial flight? I think you probably wouldn't get a bonus point if you knew what type it was. Maybe you would, don't know. But in what year did the first fully automatic landing take place on a commercial flight? Oh, Airtrain don't exist anymore, bought out by Southwest. Thank you. Round 3, question 17. So the aircraft that took off from Brooklands, manufactured by Vickers, where did they fly to carry out their testing? So when aircraft took off that were manufactured by Vickers at Brooklands, where did they fly to carry out their testing? It's just in on time. Yeah. Appreciate everyone loyally joining tonight. So we know the weather's been great and taking the numbers down a bit, but thank you for the loyal people who dialed in tonight. Sorry, dialed in, show my age. Zoned in tonight. Transported in. Round 3, question 18. Can you name this aircraft type?
What is the tail?
I don't know, you can get a bonus point if you know what the tail is. I don't know the answer though, that's the unfortunate part. If James was on tonight, he would tell us. I haven't seen James on tonight. Round 3, question 19. ATAG again. So the website that keeps giving. What proportion of the operating costs of airlines was spent on fuel in 2019? 15.2%, 23.7% or 28.4%. So what proportion of the operating costs of airlines was spent on fuel in 2019? 3 choices: 15.2, 23.7 or 28.4.
Definitely has some type of question. I'm being stared at again.
That's round 3, question 19. And round 3, question 20, hopefully a simplish one to end. Can you name this airline? Another one I think that's disappeared as an airline now, but name the airline. Don't need to name the aircraft, of course, fabulous British aircraft, but can you name the airline? Okay, perhaps you should name the aircraft. Rain all day in north of Scotland. Oh.
12.
No, I think that's going to be the same here tomorrow, so I think it's a big temperature drop tomorrow.
12 degrees is shocking now. Oh, it was here today, 23.
Guessing question 19.
A, B or C, just go for...
It's one of those things that when you know the answer you'll think, well, I'm sure I can find someone I can tell at some stage in the future when I'm at the barbecue when you can do that again. We can do that again now. Or small dinner parties, not over 6 people.
Josh knows, he's been studying ATAG, probably.
Good website. It's quite well put together, quite some good facts about aviation.
Said Greta Hope, aren't we?
So that's round 3, question 20. So anyone need any of the questions again before we go to the answers for round 2 and round 3? We'll just pause for you to tot up or look for any gaps. If you need any more questions again, let me know. So we're heading for quite an early arrival actually, compared to our normal slot, maybe even half an hour earlier than normal. So it depends how deep you go into the website, so as to where you find some of this stuff. No midges.
That would actually be my heaven. Bugs are not good.
Right, so we're going to round 2 answers then. So this is the iconic aircraft round. So 1969, 1 point if you got the year the original 747 flew. But don't worry, Josh. Undercarriage wheels, 18. So 2 on the front and 4 sets of 4. How many main types of 747 are playing piece? Now I will accept 6 or 8. So how many have got, for question 3, how many have got 6 and how many have got 8? I'll run through them in a minute. 747 was actually designed with a full twin deck, so that's true. The reason it didn't go through was because they couldn't meet the exit time, the evacuation time to meet the FAA requirements, 90 seconds. So they reverted to a partial upper deck, but it was originally designed with a full twin deck. And apparently the Seattle Boeing, or Museum of Flight Seattle, have plans of the original double-decker 747. And then to the nearest hundred, so 1,557 were produced as of January 2020, so that's the latest data I could find. So 6 is fine. Brandon, you can have a point for that. So the main elements that go into the 6 are the 747-100, the 747-200, the 747-300, the 747-400, the 747-8, and the what effectively became the Dream Lifter, the LCF. Oh, so the reason you get between 6 and 8, according to my calculation anyway, is that the SP and the SR were additional variants of the 100. So there were effectively 3 main variants of the 100. The 100 itself, the SP and the SR. Yeah, I didn't include that as a type mark, because there are some other offshoots, like there's a laser observatory, but you can have a bonus point for that. So either 6 or 8 would be acceptable as an answer, and any military variants like VC-21-25, which is Air Force One, I believe, yeah, any of those can be additional.
What, 10 including the 2 being 4?
Wow. Well, that's encyclopedic knowledge, James, so yeah, you can give yourself a couple of bonus points, but the main answers are 6 or 8 for the main variants. So, we'll move on. That should be out of, if you take any unofficial bonus points out, then it should be out of 5. And the main marking I was doing was 6 or 8 for answer to question 3, but actually 8 if you include the SR and SP as separate versions. So, round 3 answers. So this should be out of 22 before any unofficial bonus points. This is a Comet 2, again at the de Havilland Aircraft Museum at Salisbury Hall. I think, Mark, you were saying, where's it from? Were you going to say Royal Air Force Squadron, or is it Watton? I don't know actually where it's based. Comet 2. That's round 3, question 1. Round 3, question 2. Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, of course, The Falcon was the rocket, Falcon 9, and the Dragon was the capsule, and the dinosaur was called
Tremor.
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 So you can get an extra Abby bonus point if you know the dinosaur. So Doug Hurley and Bob Benken. Round 3, question 3 is a Metro. I think a relatively directionally unstable aircraft. Don't think it ever made it into a UK airline service, certainly in the early days because of directional stability. I'm sure it was all fixed. Pretty fast aircraft. Round 3, question 4, California, Edwards Air Force Base. 2 colours for Tremor.
Technically it's 3. Purple, pink and...
I don't know. So you can have a side discussion with Abby, Josh, about the colours for Tremor. The dinosaur. Round 3, question 5, RAF Bentley Priory. Well worth a visit. I think now they've converted it to flats, but I think Dowding's office is still complete as it was. Worth a visit, North London. Round 3, question 6, Spirit of St. Louis. It was a Ryan manufactured aeroplane, if you wanted an extra bonus point, I believe, but that's not what we asked. So it's just the name of the aircraft, the aeroplane. The name of it was the Spirit of St. Louis. Round 3, question 7, what's the aircraft type? Q400, of course, specially modified for L3 for some radar trials, I believe, but it's a Q400. Not sure it would look that good in passenger service in that colour. Yeah, I think they did Connor for a while. I'm not sure it was on the British Register. Round 3, question 8. Salzburg is Mozart and Warsaw is Chopin. Round 3, question 9. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, of course. Flying car. But I think only when it drove off the cliff. I think it counts as flying because it didn't crash. To infinity and beyond.
No, it's not flying, it's falling in style.
Oh yes. Round 3, question 10 is the Nord Nor Atlas. Funny looking machine. I'm sure the designers thought it was very pretty. French aircraft, of course. I think it was a competitor for the Argosy, slightly later version, but a similar design. I think it had opening doors at the back to let parachutists out, I believe. Round 3, question 11, the Puma, the crossover car and the helicopter Puma. Now, I think only called the Puma in RAF service. I think it's now called various other designations in Airbus helicopters now. Round 3, question 12, McDonnell Douglas designed this as the MD-95. It was then, they merged into Boeing and it became the Boeing 717. Oh really? Okay, didn't know that. About the cartoon, thank you. That could be a quiz question. Send it in, we'll put it in the next quiz. And Boxcar, yes. Round 3, question 13. So it took 48 hours in 1929 to fly from New York to California. Luckily, it takes a bit less now when you can fly from New York to California. Round 3, question 14. This is a special resort livery for Shamu and SeaWorld. Didn't I read that Shamu's not at SeaWorld anymore? It was a cruelty, but anyway. This was a Shamu SeaWorld special resort livery. Round 3, question 15. Lufthansa was the second largest airline by passengers, Ryanair being number 1. really zoning out type space theme. Round 3, question 16, 1964. The first, I think it was Captain Eric Poole on a BEA Trident. I wasn't there, but it was the first fully automatic landing on a commercial flight, 1964. I think our resident Trident expert Bob is not on tonight, otherwise he could probably tell us a lot more detail. Round 3, question 17, Wisley. So don't think Justin's on tonight, but so Vickers aircraft that took off from Brooklands, they didn't go back to Brooklands, they then went to Wisley. And any of you know the where the M25 turns off right to the MA3, then on the left was Wisley Aerodrome, big aerodrome. Don't think there's anything left of it that you can certainly see now. Yes, Andy, bonus for Trident. Bonus for the captain's name, if you know it was Eric Poole. Round 3, question 18 is the C-160 Transall. Don't know what the tail design is. Looks like it might be a bull or something, but I don't know. Celebrating 60 years of something. Yes, bonus for Trident, Mark and Andy. Round 3, question 19, according to ATAG, 23.7% in 2019. So it's you can see the proportion of operating costs, well, as you'd expect, proportion-wise as the fuel prices go up and down. So in 2019, nearly a quarter of the operating costs of airlines were spent on fuel. It is. Wisley is the... Yes, it is. And then last question, round 3, question 20, Northwest Airlink. Or Northwest, you can have Northwest Airlines because it looks like almost identical to the scheme on this, I think it's RJ series aircraft. Don't know the name of the airport, I'm afraid, but an airline that is now defunct and has moved into Delta. Yes. Maybe. So that is the end of the new format quiz. So please start posting your scores. Be interested in what your scores are, and also any feedback whether you think this is an improvement on the quiz. But it makes it easier to run this way. Actually, it stops you getting fixated on any particular round, gives a bit of variety, and we have sandwiched in the middle the iconic aircraft round of, say, 5 questions. So feedback please, and look forward to seeing the scores posted, and hope you enjoyed it. Feedback and scores. Runway still there. It's just blocked. 34, good score, Mark. Like the format, thank you. 26, Matthew Craig Taylor and Richard Kenyon. Oh, thank you, love the new format, thank you. 37, that's good, world according to Dan. Peter Login, 28, nice change up, thank you, good. Holly, 27, thank you. 29, Brandon, like the format, work for me. 25, much pain, Kane, thank you. That might be the port though, rather than the quiz. 16.5 points, Josh.
What was the half point?
Did you give yourself a half point, or did Abby give you a half point? Matthew, senior, 32. Joseph, oh, you're on, Joseph. Are you in Italy tonight? 25. New format's great, Brandon, thank you. Missing the military round, sorry. Okay, Josh, well, we can put a few more military questions in. There were some military questions in there buried into the rounds, but we'll try and bring some of those out. I know some people dreaded the military round. 22, in flight with James. Thank you for popping in for a quick look. Andy, 21. Connor, thank you. Connor and Julian scored 32. Joseph, exclusive military round. Well, we'll put some more military questions in to balance that for next week.
was I?
25, Dean, thank you. 25, yes, thanks, Joseph.
Ah, okay. Wait, technically it should be...
Half point for 2 out of the 3 tremor colours. Yeah, but that's all... okay, that's fine. Half a point for the tremor colours. So thanks for all of the feedback, and we will endeavour to put a few more military questions in. I've got a few more military photographs, which I didn't have this week. 34, Jed, thank you, good score. Thanks for taking part. We'll leave the post live for a bit longer, and we'll just do our traditional sign-off sunset fly past, and we'll leave the post live and respond to anything that comes up online via Abby doing the comments. So thanks for listening, thanks for coming in on a hot evening. I know the weather's changing a bit, and we'll plan back next week, same time, same place, new format. Thanks very much, good night.
Bye.